I remember the first time I told my family I was going to dedicate my life to archaeoacoustics, the study of ancient sounds and their climate secrets. I saw their faces then, the sneers, the dismissive laughter. My father shook his head like I just announced I was joining some cult. My mother looked at me like I'd lost my mind, and my siblings, well, they mocked me outright, calling me a dreamer chasing ghosts. They told me I was wasting my life, that I'd never amount to anything, that I was an embarrassment to the family. That was years ago, when I was just starting out, full of hope and naive enough to believe I could prove them wrong. But I didn't give up. No, I dove headfirst into the obscure world of archaeoacoustics, the fusion of archaeology and sound, a field most people had never heard of, let alone believed in. I knew that beneath the ruins and ancient stones, there were echoes, clues about climate patterns, droughts, floods, truths buried in vibrations and resonance that modern science refused to listen to. I poured my soul into it, traveling to remote sites, deciphering ancient soundscapes, uncovering patterns that no one else dared to consider. And yes, I was mocked, ridiculed as pseudoscience, dismissed as a crackpot chasing shadows. But I persisted, driven by a belief that history's secrets weren't just in written texts or pottery shards. They were in sound, in vibration, in the very fabric of the Earth's past. And slowly, my work began to speak for itself. Years passed. My research gained recognition among a small circle of scholars who saw the value in my approach. But it wasn't until I discovered a way to connect ancient climate signals through sound that everything changed. I developed a method to analyze sound recordings from archaeological sites, revealing patterns of climate change, droughts, storms, the rise and fall of civilizations that had been hidden in plain sight. I presented my findings at conferences, published papers, and slowly the world started to listen. Then came the breakthrough. A government project commissioned my work to analyze the ancient soundscapes of a long-abandoned valley. What I uncovered was astonishing, a detailed, resonant history of climate shifts that aligned perfectly with sediment data and ice core samples. Proof that my archaeoacoustic methods could unlock real, tangible climate truths. My research challenged current climate models, providing a new lens, a sound-based lens, into our planet's past. And that's when everything changed. I returned home after years of success, not just as a researcher, but as someone who had fundamentally reshaped environmental understanding. I was invited to speak at a major climate summit, my work now recognized as groundbreaking. I was finally validated, not just by peers, but by the very Earth itself. But I knew what awaited me, their faces, their words, their laughter echoing in my mind. I had to face the family that once mocked my dreams, the ones who told me I'd fail, who called me an embarrassment. I wondered if they'd even recognize me now, or if they'd dismiss me again, as they always did. The day arrived. I drove back to that small town, my heart pounding, part anticipation, part dread. I parked outside the house I'd grown up in, now older, but still standing. I stepped inside, and the familiar smells of my childhood hit me. Cinnamon, old wood, memories I'd buried beneath years of ambition. My family was gathered in the living room, faces lined with years of skepticism. My father looked up first, eyes narrowing, as if daring me to prove them wrong again. My mother's smile was tentative, guarded. My siblings looked away, uncomfortable, knowing what was coming but unwilling to face it. Then I played the recordings, the ancient soundscape I had uncovered from that remote valley. I played the recordings loud, clear, resonant. And as the room filled with the echoes of long dead winds, rain, and storms, I saw their eyes widen. The silence that followed was deafening. I explained how these sounds revealed climate patterns, how the droughts and floods that once ravaged civilizations could be heard in the vibrations beneath our feet. I pointed out the correlations, the scientific rigor behind it all. I told them how their skepticism had almost kept me from this breakthrough, how their ridicule had almost silenced my voice. And then I saw it, their faces, the shame creeping in. My father, who once called me a fool, looked like he'd been hit. My mother's eyes welled with tears, and my siblings looked stunned, almost speechless. In that moment, I realized I wasn't just proving my work, I was finally proving a truth they had refused to see. I turned off the recorder and looked at them. "This isn't just sound," I said softly. "It's history. It's the Earth's voice, telling us what's happened before we even knew it. I didn't chase a ridiculous dream. I chased the truth. And I found it." Then my father cleared his throat. "I was wrong," he said quietly, voice thick. "You weren't wasting your time. You were listening to something we never bothered to hear." My mother nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry I doubted you. I'm proud of you." And my siblings, finally seeing the depth of what I'd built, looked at me with new eyes, but respectful. That moment, standing there having shattered their doubts, felt like a victory not just for me, but for anyone who's ever been mocked for following a dream that seemed ridiculous to others. Wow. It was a reminder that persistence, integrity, and unwavering belief in your purpose can turn even the harshest rejection into a testament of truth. Because here's what I've learned. The Earth's secrets don't care about our doubts or dismissals. They wait patiently, echoing through time, waiting for someone brave enough to listen. And when you do, when you finally hear what's been there all along, it transforms everything. Today, I stand not just as a researcher, but as proof that even the most ridiculed dreams can reshape the world if you're willing to listen beyond the noise, beyond the mockery, and trust that your truth will find its voice. And that, my friends, is the real victory.